What a great intro, bro. Hello, guys. What is up, all my homies out there, guys? So in today's video, we'll be talking a little bit about live trades, basically the NHL trades. First, I want people to get into the stream while we do this, so we're gonna wait just a little bit. All NHL trades. My thoughts on some teams, the winners, the losers, things like that. You know, the basics. Yeah, you want to go? Let's start. Let's start. Okay. San Jose Sharks. I'm gonna start with San Jose. So San Jose Sharks trade Jacob Milton. Okay. Some people will disagree with me. Some people will agree with me. But I personally think taking away Jacob Milton, in my opinion, was not a smart move. That's just me. You could call me an idiot of a fan. I know I'm also very stubborn with hockey stuff like this. But for one, I think Jake Milton was one of those young defensemen who's just developing, and he shouldn't be one of those guys that we should, you know, give away and get a fifth round draft pick in the 2022 draft. Which, yes, that is nice, a fifth round draft pick. Yes, I will admit that is still good, but we already got a guy who's young, a young defenseman who's getting developed and getting better. So why trade him? You know, yes, we got goalie Capo Cacon, and I don't really know his name that well in the NHL. I don't know how he is really. That's just kind of can't really say about that. But I honestly wanted the Sharks. I think the Sharks should have tried. I like that they traded Cogliano because he's just useless. I think honestly for us, and we need to clear up cap. And Nick Merkley, I'm okay with, but I wasn't really happy about the Jake Milton. In my opinion, you know, I think if we're gonna take away guys out of this Sharks team, we should take away the guys like Burns. See, those guys. The problem about getting those guys off is a lot of people aren't gonna want him because they're declining and they have such a low their contract is so long that basically it's like so bleh, like it would take forever for their contract to end. So like Burns has another like 5 years left, I think, on his contract or 4 years. So like it's not like he's gonna be like a rental. If anybody picks up Burns, like I wanted them to trade Burns, even though I know reality nobody's gonna want him because who's gonna want to have that old guy for 4 more years or something like that? You know, like he's not a rental Burns. He's a stay like on the team for a couple more years, and he's not cheap. He's not cheap Burns. So like if I was thinking like who would want to go, and I think Burns would be a smart the Sharks, but who's gonna pick up a guy who's that expensive and for that many more years? Too much of a risk and just not worth it. You know what I'm saying? But he would do a really good experience to a team. So yeah, that one I didn't really like. The Cogliano one actually though I'm fine with. You know, I do think Cogliano, it was good they traded him. I just don't think we need him, and I think I would honestly rather get a draft pick than keep Cogliano, if you know what I'm saying. Another big trade. Yeah, it's a big trade. Minnesota Wild acquire goaltender Marc-Andre Fleury from the Chicago Blackhawks in exchange for a conditional first-round pick in the 2020-22 draft. My gosh, guys. Marc-Andre Fleury, my God, literally has gone to like a new team every year now. Ever since he left Vegas. Wait, Chicago is the only team. But like, it's just he's constantly moving around, it feels like, you know? Like he's not staying in one team. He keeps moving around. And you know, I think this is good though for Minnesota totally because listen, I mean, Fleury can help you lead your way in the playoffs. He's a great goal. We always know Fleury heats up during the playoffs, and Minnesota needs that type of goaltender to really step up during the playoffs for the push the playoffs and when they're in the playoffs. And Marc-Andre Fleury is that type of guy for the Minnesota Wild. You know, I can see him totally being like the best during the playoffs. So I like this a lot. The only thing that depends on if Chicago Blackhawks with the first round draft pick, if they're gonna get like a really good guy in the draft and he's like a total franchise player for Minnesota. But you know, Marc-Andre Fleury though, that's a smart decision I think for Minnesota because they can definitely win the Stanley Cup this year. And now adding Marc-Andre Fleury to the team totally will help the Wild. So I think that's a big yes for Wild. New York Rangers, I tell you, have got such good players this trade deadline. They got Justin Braun, who played for the Sharks for a couple of years. You know, not a couple of years, more than a couple. But yeah, trying to get more of the trades have happened that I can remember. You know what's funny? I think, guys, I think it's funny how Mark Giordano literally the captain of the Seattle Krakens, the most shortest captain ever. He was only captain. Okay, Seattle Krakens come in this year, so they come here this season, and then they literally just like right away they just trade him after the season. Like what a legendary. Like he's gonna be totally remembered. You know, Mark Giordano is totally remembered. Like look at his legacy he brought. He was captain for one season, and then he gets traded in the deadline. Didn't even play the full season. Like honestly, like that's a piece of not good information. I wasn't actually gonna say the S word. I don't know what I was gonna say. Um, yeah, that one is a little weird. I thought they'd make him captain, but then, you know, then they would like he would just be gone the season. I thought that was kind of weird. And then you name him captain. Like if you name a guy captain, you don't expect him to leave right off the bat. You expect him to to stay with the team for at least a couple of seasons, not just like right after the 1 year playing for this team leaves. So yeah, that was kind of weird. What else trades did we get? There was that trade to Florida. Claude Giroux. Florida Panthers finally they acquired Claude Giroux from the Philadelphia Flyers. Now that one, honestly, we kind of thought Claude Giroux was getting traded. Even there were so many rumors about him like leaving the season, even right at the beginning of the year. So that one was no big surprise that he was going to get traded. I just depend on who. So he can really help out the Florida Panthers during the playoffs. I really think that Florida can totally win it all this year. I mean, have you looked at Florida? They are such a good team, and now adding Claude Giroux, he was so helpful in the power play. And I tell you, Florida has a lot of talent. I mean, honestly, I could totally see Florida Panthers winning the cup, even without Claude Giroux, but with Claude Giroux, an extra boost. Like, totally. Florida, I can see totally winning the cup this year. Now we go to Anaheim. Very depressing, but honestly, it's probably in the right direction. The Ducks trade Nick Delorier. These are like, they trade so many big guys from the Ducks this year. They traded Josh Manson, my favorite Ducks player. That was very upsetting for me, even though I know that was probably the right move to trade Josh Manson. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that was the right move, but of course not. He's my favorite player, so why would I be happy? Josh Manson they traded Hampus Lindholm, which is also very sad. He's a great player for the Ducks. Ricardo Raquel, man, that sucks. And then Nick Delorier, who's just such a fun guy to watch because he always does those fights. The Josh Manson one I agreed with. I think that one was good. The one I kind of thought, the one that I was kind of like, maybe they shouldn't have done was the Hampus Lindholm one. I know a lot of people are gonna be like, hey, the Ducks need to rebuild. They need to like just get a bunch of draft picks, get a bunch of young players, and then just rebuild from them. And yes, I don't disagree with them, but I think Hampus Lindholm really has that talent to keep the Ducks in the competition. And I know some people say the Ducks aren't gonna be good until another 5 years. I don't really believe that. I really believe that the Ducks, people are going to think it's crazy for saying this. I believe the Ducks have about 1 or 2 more seasons of not making the playoffs, and then they're back in the playoffs. I know people are going to think I'm crazy, but I really don't think the Ducks are like that far away from being a good team. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people think it's going to be 5 years, and then they'll finally be like a good team. I don't think so. I think it's like almost at the corner. They just got to, because plus next year they're getting Mason McTavish, and then Trevor Zegras will be even better probably by next year. So like the Ducks have such good to look forward to. Yeah, Ricardo Raquel I thought was fine because he's honestly been declining a lot, and these players probably want to play for a cup contending team. These players have played for Anaheim for like their whole career, and for about like 4 years, 4 to 5 years. Sorry, they don't really have common sense of knowing when to come in. What was I saying? See, no, I forgot. Oh, I forgot. You can blame it on my mom, though. Not me. Because I forgot, guys. I actually forgot what I was saying. What was I saying, guys? Saying about the Ducks. I know that. Oh, yeah, Mason McTavish coming in next season. That's going to really help out. I mean, I agree. If most of the trades the Ducks did, it's just sad to see these guys go. It's because when these guys have played for this team for such a long time, you get attached to them, and you just don't want to see them leave the Ducks because they feel like the Anaheim Ducks. These players, like Manson and Lindholm, they feel like the Anaheim Ducks. because they've always been on the team whenever I watch them. You know, they've been on the team for a while, so like they feel like they've been on the team for a long time. Yeah, but I think the Manson was the right move. I don't know about the Lindholm one. The Lindholm one, I kind of think they should have kept him. That's just me. But yeah, I think overall though it's a win. We get a bunch of draft picks, young players. We're totally gonna be a young team, but future good team. I really think Anaheim though is going in the right direction. Though overall, I think Anaheim's going on the good direction. So that's kind of like the trades I wanted to recap. I don't really want to do all of them. I just wanted to do a couple. But yeah, that's really it, guys. I mean, I hope that I hope that these trades pay off for these teams, or else this was a pretty bad draft. Trade deadline. I hope you guys don't enjoy this quick stream video. Please like, subscribe, notification, guys, and yeah, let's see what happens. Sharks aren't gonna make it. Ducks ain't gonna make it. Let's root. I'm gonna be rooting for Canes and hopefully the Stars. And maybe the Rangers. I don't know. I can't wait to watch the playoffs though. Let's go.